Hey, what's going on, guys? Gokuzemi here. I'm here with my friend Michael West, and he won locals tonight with ABC Therion Adventure, whatever.
So we run 2 A's, we run 3 B's, and 2 C's, along with the bricks, 2 union drivers. This is not standard. Most people only run the 1. I prefer to run the 2 due to the fact that I am playing 45 cards, and it just kind of helps in the grind game. For the adventure package, we run 3 water enchantress, 1 griffin. Then we run
No illegal night?
no illegal knight, just the standard griffin and water enchantress. We then do 3 revolution synchrons.
Nothing to say about it? Just, is it good? Is it bad? How do you feel about it?
So I think it's good. I dislike running 3, but I have to run 3 due to the fact that I'm running 45 cards. I need to see it more often. It helps me get to my field spells because I run the 2. I run the Union Hanger and the Therion Disc Coliseum. It just, sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. It does help a lot due to the fact that you can mill Water Enchantress, mill another piece, mill something you need to see, even if it means getting Therion online. If you have Therion in hand, you mill a piece, you can special summon that. There's a lot that this card can do. I just like the fact that it only has a once per turn effect, or once per duel effect. Because then once you get these in hand or engraved, then it's just they're kind of dead. But I don't think I've ever seen more than 2 at a time. So it's not too bad, but it's definitely very helpful. I don't think it's as good as a lot of people think it is. We then run 2 Therions. Not much to say about this. Everyone knows what this guy does. For hand traps, we do 3 Ash, 2 Nibiru, and 1 Droll.
Why 1 Droll?
1 Droll, mainly because I don't like seeing more than the 1, but I'm also running Crossout Designator. This is a Crossout Designator target if I don't have it in hand. Same thing for the Nibiru. My deck loses hard to these 3 mainly, so I might as well run at least 1 of these. And I feel like Nibiru is more impactful than Droll is sometimes. We then proceed to the spells. So standard 3 Union Hangers. Really good card. 1 right, mainly because you have the recursion with the Water Enchantress. I mean, it just keeps coming back because it can come from grave. If it gets banished, all well, I just kind of forget about it at that point. I got other packages to play. 1 Faithful, the Draco back. That will wrap up the adventure package. Something I like to do with the Draco back is I'll add it to hand on turn 1, and then turn 2, while my opponent's playing, I will discard the Draco back and then equip it to the token. Feels like it's kind of like not a negative discard. The other field spell is the Therion Disc Coliseum. Adds Therion, protects stuff from battle.
How do you feel about playing 2 of it?
I might put it to 3. I don't think I will because I don't have the room. I don't want to go above 45 cards. The 2 of it seems to work pretty well because I am also running terraforming, set rotation. The Draco back can add it back if I got set rotation on the field. It seems to be pretty good at 2. I don't think there's any reason to run more than that. 3 Prospies for consistency. The 2 crossout designators. Again, just to hopefully see, it's basically a call by the grave, so might as well run them. 2 triple tactics talents.
Really good card.
Really good card. Call by the grave. The terraforming, the set rotation, searching out more field spells. So I'm playing 7 field spells basically.
Yep.
And then technical hand trap.
That card's insane.
Really good card. Just to
So 45 card main deck?
45 card main deck. Hasn't bitten me in the butt too much, except for one time last week. I activated triple tactics talent. I should have opted to take the opponent's card, but I decided to draw 2, and I drew both Union drivers. out of at that point 40 cards, I drew or probably more like 35, but 2 Union drivers, and it was a little bit of a disaster there. For the Link guys, the mandatory ones at least is the Platinum Gadget and IP Masquerena. These are definite mandatories in this deck. We then have the Sky Striker one. I'm very iffy about this one because it comes in handy a lot of the time, but then it also has to have the spells in the grave to keep it alive. There's a good deal of time where I do have enough spells, but then sometimes it's kind of the only card I can go into, and due to the fact that it has at least 2 lights or 2 darks, or a combination of both, and all the ABC pieces are lights, so I feel like this is a pretty good form of removal. It just has its downsides because otherwise this is just a better, Phoenix or Cerberus, yeah. Then Link 3, Unicorn. Everyone knows what that guy does. I have for Link 4's IP Masquerena and Avery Max.
Avery Max is just hard out sometimes.
It's just hard to out sometimes. I swapped Apollosa in for an exchange of access code, and I don't know if that was a smart decision, but sometimes I feel like access code is not really necessary in this deck because you have so many other bigger bodies that you can actually do something with, and link climbing is kind of like the last ditch effort, and if I'm link climbing, then there's probably not too much more I can really do after that. The 1 Link 5 I feel like is another mandatory since you're running the IP and Buster Dragon tags out into enough material, as long as your opponent has one. Graveyard negate, and then a on-field negate your opponent's field. I feel like that's a really good effect there. The Synchros, you run obviously the Ancient Fairy for the Revolution. Again, it's really good with another field spell. Gains good for a time because it gains 1,000 on the field spell effect as long as they don't imperm or ash it or something. A unusual 7 I feel like is Crystal Clear or Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. I also play the Crystal Clear Wing Synchro Dragon. I feel like this is just a smaller version.
This is just to basically bait out negates.
It's to bait out a negate, but then also if I don't have a field spell for the Ancient Fairy, but I need to get Revolution on the field so I can at least go for this, this puts up a negate against at least Nibiru, or if they have some guys on the field that I don't want to deal with. This is just a smaller version, not as good as this guy, but still does enough to put up a threat. Then obviously can't play this deck with Revolution without this guy. A small XYZ package just in case you see Kashtira, or I like to play this card against Flu. You do the standard Union Hanger add, normal summon, do all that stuff, get 2 bodies, and then just go into Babuska. They can't do anything about it really half the time. And then go into Zeus at the end of that. And then a lot of people like to run 2, but I prefer the 3 just because it has so much recursion. Its effect is really good. The tag out is really good. It's a really well-rounded card, and this paired with Therianda's Coliseum, it's almost an infinite loop right there that you can just keep going off and getting bodies on board, putting up negates. In the grind set, this is a really good deck for that.
Yeah.
Then for the side deck, a little unconventional, but we play the 3 Bells. Not sure what this is for anymore. This was for mainly Labyrinth. I mainly was really scared of Labyrinth because I didn't know how the deck really played, and this was just like a secondary Ash, I feel like.
Yeah, because the big welcome.
Big welcome, you can Ash that as well, or Bell it as well, so it helps a lot. Against Dragon Link or again Labyrinth, banish their stuff. 2 more Droll in case they're running something else that's not quite Nibiru-able. Swap it out for Droll, or if I just want to see Droll more often, I'll take out one of the Nibirus, side in a second one, that way I keep the cross-out targets. For kind of board breakers, we run the 3 Dark Rulers.
Really good card.
Really good card. An unusual one that you suggested to me was Zombie World against Flu, because this prevents them from tributing, and I can play most of my cards can play through this. It only requires in the field. I don't do any tributing really. The only tributing really is Therion, and Therion targets in the grave. So hopefully do that before I activate this. Last thing I would play if I'm playing against Flu. The one Harpy, and then 2 evenly matches. I barely side this in. I don't know if I want to keep it in. It's more of if they are putting up really big boards, I'll side in this will be the first sides if I'm not too worried about hand traps. Or I'll take out almost all my hand traps except for one of each, just to put these in, so that way I have good board breaking capabilities.
Nice. Okay. So that's the deck profile, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. How do you feel you did today?
I felt like I did well. I felt like I could have played a little better against you. For some reason, I didn't banish one of your cards when I should have. I was worried about another one. I just wasn't thinking it out as well as I should have. I feel like the other games, though, I actually focused up a good bit and paid attention to what's going on and thought of better lines than I could have. Like my last one for the undefeated match, I have a problem. This deck has a problem with, if you see all the cards you need to see, you clog your board up. You wind up with too many negates and interactions on your opponent's turn. But I saw a line to where I was able to put up every single negate I could possibly put up, but then also maintain enough space to summon ABC at the final point without clogging the board too much. Was putting up, I think, 9 interruptions almost.
That's kind of insane.
Yeah, if you see the right cards, you can put up, I think, 9 interruptions in one turn.
Okay, well, is there any shout-outs you would like to make?
I'll give a shout-out to Gokuzimi's channel. I'll give a shout-out to my wife.
I'm sorry, when I panned over to you, it's just like your head was barely in the frame.
I'm the Flu player.
He's a Flu player. There's a reason that card's in there.
Exactly.
This has been Michael West, and this is Gokuzemi, signing off. Peace. Have a good one.